Hello guys, welcome to this video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the Wilderness Agility course. We're going to be going over some of the options and considerations you might have whenever you're taking on this course. It is a very frustrating experience due to the player killers, but that's the only way that this is balanced. The loot here is incredibly good, you get tons of raw GP, and you get lots of pretty good experience that scales pretty decently and is actually the best experience at the level you get it. So it's pretty good, or at least I think it's the best experience. Maybe something new has come out that's better, but it's really strong. Anyway, so I've got a lot of talking points and I'm going to try to get through it in some timely manner. First thing to say is that you don't have to do this course. Um, it is really, really strong, and I highly encourage you to give it a chance. Even if you die, it's really, really good. The amount of loot you can get is incredible while also getting good experience. But at the same time, if you really want to, you can always go to thieving. You can do Giant's Foundry. Like you could do your Giant's Foundry with iron and steel all the way to the requirement for the Lumberge Elite Diary. I don't remember, it's 80 something, I think. But something like that. There's plenty of other skilling methods that can provide GP, but they are much slower. There is nothing even remotely comparable to the Wilderness Agility course when it comes to raw GP per hour. Even something like the Corrupted Gauntlet actually does not give as much raw GP as the Wilderness course once you start doing really long trips and everything. Of course, the Gauntlet gives other stuff and the loot and the BOFA and all that good stuff, but even that's a point of reference. The only reason it's balanced is because of the PKers. And unfortunately, as an Ultimate Iron Man, you can only stay here at the very start of your account whenever you have no items, because death piling and coming to course is really not viable due to the streak mechanic. You really can't just come here for a while and death pile and leave. It really does not work. So you have to do it early on before you have any items that are important, because you're, of course, in the wilderness. And if you die as an Ultimate Iron Man, you do not keep 3 items. I make sure anybody knows that. You lose all of your items every time you die. Just think of yourself as permanently skulled. No protect item. You'll always lose everything as an Ultimate Iron Man, so you are kind of stuck with that. So you do it early on, and it just gives a ton. The early tank build is actually very effective. I've got a lot of good reports. I've used it myself. It's way better than the version I used in the past. Whenever I did the Wilderness course on my first test account, I was 10 HP and I got one shot everything. So the tank build is a massive improvement over that. So hope you guys appreciate it. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to talk about how long you want to stay at the course. The default minimum is you need 70 agility, and I'm putting it as 10 mil as your minimum, but really that's the minimum. I highly recommend that you go at least to 15 to 20 mil because you will enjoy that cash. It will make a big difference, and you are very far from having all the money you will ever need. You will really appreciate having so much cash around, and you cannot come back. You won't realize just how good this is sometimes until you run out of money and then don't have any other good way to make money, and you really wish you had stayed at the course longer. Of course, it's also training your agility at the same time. The XP rates here at the course are viable all the way up to 99 technically, but really it's you're comparing against Sepulcher. So Sepulcher is much better. There's no really way about it. Doing the Hallowed Sepulcher is much better overall. It has high XP rates, significantly higher, especially at the high levels. It does give loot itself. I think it gives alcohols and whatnot. It also gives seeds. So you can also do multi-skilling while you're doing Sepulcher. So if you want to do that, it is much better. However, if you are comparing against all of the other options that are not Sepulcher, then it's not so bad. There are some courses that give more experience than here, but they don't give the loot. So you're getting a little bit lower experience, but you're getting insanely good loot all the way to 99. If you theoretically did that, you'd be a mega, mega millionaire, hundreds of mil right at the start of your count. But of course, that's a really, really long grind. So up to you. If you do want to stay longer at the course, I highly recommend that you go for more hit points. The basic guide only gets you 32 hit points. However, you really would benefit from going higher. Getting the 36 hit points build I came up with allows you to really get a bit more beefiness, but it's not so hard to go out of your way for. 36 hit points with the diary lamps, it's not crazy to get, and it progresses your count in general. Those diaries are good to knock out. Obviously, you're not using the experience on Herblore, but it's not the end of the world. It's just, some Herblore XP that you will have to make up elsewhere, but it's okay. Going beyond that, if you really are staying here long, like the 40, or like the 90 plus agility kind of idea, I really recommend you going for at least 40 hit points. Now, 40 hit points starts getting a lot more tricky because we run out of the easily accessible choice experience rewards. So you really kind of just clean finds. However, if you are interested, you can go for poison dynamite and keep exploring as a skiller. There's a ton of tutorials online about how to kill quest bosses and other NPCs, such as doing more diaries with the poison dynamite without getting combat experience. So, for example, one small favor gives a boatload of experience that you can really use to skyrocket your account. This is only worth it if you are going to be at the course a very long time, because, of course, it takes a while to do, but it is fun. If you've never tried low level skill or you never tried being a skiller or anything, it's not efficient to do, but it could be a little journey. It is a game after all. Enjoy your own style. So I've had fun exploring with it a little bit using the poison dynamite on another account, and it's a little bit different. But do that if you like. If you don't want to do that, but you still want to stay at the course a long time, then you can just do 40 hit points with the lamps from the Raric Museum. Um, Beyond 40 is probably honestly not worth it. I have a 51 hit points and 43 prayer build that I used. I did 1,000 laps without dying. It was really fun, but honestly, I spent an entire week lamping that, so it's not worth it. I can't argue that it was worth it, but it was a lot of fun. So you can do that, but 40 hit points doesn't take as long to get and really makes a noticeable difference. Okay, I think that's all I have for right now. Oh, actually, no, I had one more thing on my list. So, mass worlds. It's mentioned in the other section, but if you are struggling at the course solo and you're looking for a safer thing to do to get through the course, then you can do mass worlds. And there's a couple different clans that do them, but I've had the most success with the Agility FC. I've run a couple times with them just to try it out. It worked fine, but there are some other ones. I figure this guy's gonna kill me. Oh, this guy, he found me earlier. You notice I've already got stuff here, so I'm gonna show you guys a quick idea of how to tank. I have a whole separate tanking video, but that goes into a lot more details. I hopefully I don't die. This guy was kind of newbie before, but one of the best tricks you can use. We'll see if I get him this time. Last time I got him by going down the ladder juke. We'll see if I get him again this time. But I think he's going to expect it this time. So I'm going to go this way. Ah, I got him. Okay, so that worked because that guy expected me to go in. But I'll show you what I'm doing. Hold on. So let's log in here. But I have a whole video. I'm going to make another video, actually, that's going to be more comprehensive on how to tank. But really quick, while I'm here, the most important mechanic you need to know about tanking at the course is that these skeletons actually will not aggro you right after you get attacked by PK. There will always be at least one tick between the time that you get attacked by PK and the time that the skeletons will aggro back onto you. So if you are, say, being hit by PK, you get a gap, then you can always log out. And one of the best tricks you can use is to go down this ladder and then run this way. So rather than going up the ladder, you instead run this way. And people won't expect it because they imagine the skeletons would stop you from logging out. But actually, you can get a log out because you've been attacked by a PK recently. You do have a short window to do it because it's only a one tick window of immunity, but I get lots of people doing it. I actually got that guy just a little bit earlier doing that exact trick. So this time I knew he was going to expect me to do it the same way, so I went this way. But this ladder is really, really important for juking. Also, if you fall down the log, you can log out the same way, stuff like that. But there's a lot of tips and tricks. There's spots you can log out. I'll go into all over more detail in the tanking video, but that's just a quick example.